Welcome, one and all sinners. Featuring my fucking hands. And to answer your question, well, I don't actually know. But, there we go. Now, hands reveal my handies. And some of my body. I think. Yes, there's some body on show. It's fine. I'll just, like, shimmy. You don't need to see everything. If I aim the camera down a little bit more. Move my keyboard back. Now, I admit it's been an awful long time since I've done one of these. Let me know how the music sounds, by the way. I'm having to mess with desktop audio because, it decided to unadd itself. I don't quite understand why. So, that's a whole thing. Can barely hear it. How about that? Better? Something like that? I've got it turned down low for me, but I'll increase it a bit so you guys can hear it, at least in the background. Yeah, we don't need, like, too high anyway. If it gets too loud, just let me know. But yeah, welcome to our first painting stream, and despite Streamlabs deciding to be a fucker to me today, we're gonna be okay. You know, sometimes I've considered swapping out which application I use, because sometimes Streamlabs does this, and I'm like, but then it gives me some things, so I'm like, yeah. So, we have a few items for today. So, let me hide my wings a little bit so you can see it. We have a lovely Nurgle gentleman here, one of the Blight Kings. Indeed, a good bit of Nurgle for you all. I've just primed this guy. He is a little bit... Yes, the Blight Kings are kind of like Tamakan. They're bloated. They were a thing in End Times, actually, so they kind of transferred over nicely to Age of Sigmar. We have a Space Marine. A Reaver Space Marine. He's all nice and based up. My custom chapter, the Basilisks. A Salamander successor that is very much against the grain. And Rouge, you'll like this. 1 second. We have a bit more further along, gentlemen. That's right. We have this lovely fella. I forget what they're called. I always forget what they're called, but this lovely sorcerer here in Legion era colours, because I like the Legion era colours for them. It's far from finished, but it's looking pretty nice so far. If you're wondering, I'll look up his name in a minute, but if you're wondering, I basically painted him gold and then washed over with Blood Angels red. Put him here. Put him there. Him there. A bit of a hodgepodge. I have some other things if I run out of things to paint, but I wanted to paint this fella first. So, without further ado, get yourselves nice and comfy, and we're going to paint away. I also have a very important liquid on top of my water. I have my the booze. The camera is in a different place than usual, so if I look a bit funny, it's because it's in a different place. I had to push my keyboard back, so it kind of sits here now rather than here. It's normally here. But thankfully, it doesn't look too bad at this angle. And then this thing is the old webcam. It's what I used to use for my model. I know, I did consider getting a glove. Put it on the throne. I feel like I can't get a throne, you lot will... I don't know. Someone buy something weird. But tempting, tempting. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Right. I need some paints. So, just gonna shake the shit out of this one real quick. You get some good wrist movement on the shit. Very important. You gotta shake the shit out of these. Now, admittedly, a drop of bottle's better. But G-Dubs is cringe. Doesn't give us drop of bottles. So, we're gonna start out with some lovely Rakar flesh. Now, careful to reveal myself. That should be good. This is my muse that I'm using for the Nurgle guy, by the way. This is another Nurgle model I painted a while back. Nice, wet, kind of dark Nurgle. Kind of thing I'm looking for. So, got just a little brush here. To be Mushroom Death Man. Yes. So, I'm just going to grab a little blob of this. First, let me reach into the pot for the fresher stuff. So, we'll leave it. A good blob. Give me a blob. That should be blobbed. Right. Get a little bit on the old palette. Don't know if that's enough. We'll see. Hopefully that's enough for this guy's body. I might get more of this stuff, to be totally honest with you. But yeah, so, chat, tell me about your day. What have you been doing? What have you been up to? What have you been doing? What debauchery have you committed? Have you anything worthy of me calling you a sinner today? Or have you been a blessed soul and on the righteous path? Oh, absolutely, yeah. Ludicrous work from again? Damn. It's okay. I've been put on watch for funny people trying to break into our network job now. More than usual, because someone's actually trying it. Someone's had a go because I think they're hard enough. Yes, so every morning now I must check to see if someone from God knows where has attempted something. That's currently... not a very good one. I'll be honest with you, not a very good one. Currently, they're, how shall we say, I should put them in the light so you can actually see what I'm doing. Hopefully you're able to, like, hopefully I'm showing you this properly, because, I'll put my camera a bit more up. Not too much up, obviously, but, like, a little more so you can actually see what I'm doing. Ooh, careful. Don't need to show too much of myself. I need like a thing to mount it on, so I can get a better angle of this. Better like overhead position. I realise I'm kind of in the way, aren't I? Hold on. Let's see if we can fix that. If I go over here. At an orthodox angle, I know, but what if we try it? Yeah, we do have a little bit of a hacker man. A Slovakian hacker man, seemingly. Yeah, so... basically, we're now trying to justify having a region lock So, essentially, I'm being used as a resource to then be able to go back to the powers that be and go, hey, we have security on it now, but it's like, it's basically after a month they're going to go, if it's still a problem, they're going to go, hey, security's on us for a month now, can we just have a region block? That's apparently the play. That's apparently the play. So that's my goings on as of today. So from tomorrow onwards, I'll be doing that, which is interesting. Have I covered him enough? Let me see. Need to remember to hold him in the light where you guys are. It's mostly just looking through a log every day at the minute. Looking through the logs and going, alright, what's going on? Anything to report. Report back in. Let management know what's going on. It's at least something interesting, and it may prove, you know, some kind of interest later on. Maybe. I don't know. I need a metallic at some point, but for now, I'll grab this. It's at least there's some interest to it, right? There's at least a bit of God knows. I don't think so, though. The only connection we've got is who they're targeting. That's the only thing we really know. Who they're targeting. God, look how fucked up my fingers are. Jesus. All nibbled there. My pale ass white skin. I swear. This angle is not complimentary to me. I look bulky. Don't know how I feel about it. My claws. My fingies are a bit battered and nibbled. Lots of tippy tapping, yes, exactly. A lot of that tippy tappy shit. This keyboard has served me well for 10 years plus. I don't know if the Make Call keypad's this good, but this one's been good. My lovely mechanical keyboard served me well. Right, now I'm going to do my best to not fucking tip this one over. I'll be very upset if I tip this one over. This one's more runny. Right. I'm going to close it because I know I've tipped this over before. Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like with some friends, it'd be pretty fun, actually. I didn't invite anyone to join me when I played it on my own, because I wasn't sure if it was going to be good. I was expecting it to be a bit shit, to be honest, so when I found it was actually kind of okay, I was like, oh, that's a surprise. A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. Space Marine 2, by the way, speaking of games that are co-op, oh, Space Marine 2. Papa need. I'm in need of it. Right this moment. Yeah, Speed Freaks will tie me over for now, but God, I need Space Marine 2. In my life. Right now. Give it to me, please. Hand it over at once. I will not ask again. The nut was real. Like, there's a good amount of Here's the thing as well, by the way. They're going to release more weapons as free patches. Which is amazing. The DLC is all cosmetic. And for some more obscure chapters are in the game, right? like the space sharks. Yeah. More weapons, what they've said. There are definitely weapons that we haven't got yet in game that they could definitely add. You know, I was quite surprised, by the way. Here's something funny. The melter gun you see the Intercessor using... I need to hold him in the camera. I need to stop putting it to my face. The Intercessor with the melter gun, that isn't a model. Oh, the Force Sword's nice. I'm glad he can get a chainsword as well. And the Bulwark. Here's the thing as well, the Bulwark... so the Blade Guard veterans, right, can take Neo-Volkite. So we might get a Neo-Volkite weapon, which interests me. I'm curious if they'll add any new classes as well. Will we get Librarians? Will we get Tech Marines? What about Apothecaries? You know, any of these specialists? I'm curious. Oh, Chaplains. Let me... like, give me a chaplain, right? Let me dress it up as, like, an interrogator chaplain or, like, a Blood Angels chaplain or whatever. And then just go ham. Also, the robes. If you like Dark Angels, the robes. Ha. Ha. The robes. It's fucking delicious. It's absolutely delicious. Oh yeah, the staves, the, you know, fucking... God, staffs and everything. All the force weapons. Whether we'll get Terminators as well, I don't think we will, but it'd be cool if we did. You can get the Death Watch thing as well, so you can look like a Death Watch guy. Okay. I would like to get some metallics on this fella in a minute, but we do need a bit of brown. I have a brown here. I have a few browns at my disposal. Brown's this. Contrast Wild Wood. Maybe. We'll put that there. What's this one? Black Templar. No, we'll keep it for later. We don't need it right this second. Brown oxide, though. There we go. That's a brown. It's not a contrast paint, but it's a brown. Shake the shit out of this. I'm being careful not to dunk my brush into my booze. There's a really, like, disgusting adage for one of the loading screens for Total Warhammer. That's talking about a Nurgle worshipper no longer needing to eat, but then discussing his continuous bowel movement. I won't go into further detail in case you're eating, but it's nasty. It's so nasty. I'm like, who wrote this? You nasty, but also you accurate to Nurgle, but oh, you nasty as fuck. Yes, this is my palette, by the way. What this was a promotional thing from Element Games. Not sponsored. Not sponsored at all. I wish. Wish I was, but I'm not. But it was like a little leaflet that came with like a pamphlet thing that was like semi-laminated. Like it wasn't paper, so it wasn't like too absorbent. But I've just used this as a palette ever since. I've got two of them. They work. It's a budget palette, but it works, so I don't care. Again, apologies for how scuff of a setup this is, by the way. I'm working with what I got at the moment. At some point, we'll get like a nicer setup, maybe, with like, you know, if this is something you guys like, you know, if you like this kind of thing, if it's sort of like, you know, if something you guys enjoy watching, then I'll definitely improve it, of course. I mean, I'm gonna do a couple of these here and there. Semi-regular. just so I can get a good gauge for these. So that's, yeah. I mean, hopefully the music isn't like putting things off too much, but yeah, I wanted a comfy vibe, right? I've got my light, which I've aimed a bit down. Like, I'm using what I've already got. I had models that I hadn't painted. I built this guy last night, actually. You see him? You can see him, yes, he's there. The perspective's fucking with me. I'll have to get used to, like, having the perspective here. He probably looks quite pale and white at the moment, doesn't he? But he will start getting a bit more colourful as we go on. So I think we'll add a bit of splash of colour to him. I want a little... Yeah. So we've Rakar fleshed him. He's got his skin, kinda. But he's not looking drowned enough yet. So we got a few... we got a little bit of this. To add the help the purple, bit of bruising. Bit of this for the actual flesh tone. We do have somewhere over yonder a bit of blue somewhere. Oh, Cygobra. I could have used that. I'll keep that over here. I might need it. What's this one? Green. No, but I'll put it over there. So it's out of my way. Agrax Earthshade, one of the most used shades you'll ever use, and for unless you have like a different brand. But honestly, it's a pretty good shade. This is pretty nice for bones, genuinely. Seraphim Sepia, nice sepia wash for the bones. It's quite nice. But I was hoping I would notice my blue wash among these somewhere. That's not the right blue wash. Is it among us? The blue wash? Is it among us right now? Cometh thou blue wash? That shades purple. The imposter is sus. Is it just not among these? Did I not prepare this? Here's a fun one while I'm going for my collection. This is some Green Stuff World, and it helps make things look like frost when it cools down, when it dries up. It has a nice like frosty effect. It looks honestly quite nice. I really like it. Yeah, literally. It's quite nice like that. Huh. 1 second. Let me see if I can show my face, because that'll be real bad. You don't want that. I don't want to accidentally face reveal at the wrong time. Aha, I found it. I also need to set up a little animation for when I'm not visible. This is what I was after. Drakenhof Nightshade. In fact, we'll pick all these up now, but I don't want to use it right this second. That's Dawnstone. Did I grab my metallic already? I think I might have done. Yes, I did. Okay, there we go. I'm going to use some Iron Hand Steel for the metals. Now, a little tip with your metallics. You should swap the water out. I am lazy and I'm going to avoid it unless I have to. But you should. ideally. But I've not had too much of an issue. But it's recommended because like the metallic flakes, right? But just a thing to mention to you. Exactly. Much like your dear sweet mother, we rot. Kidding. Sorry, that was far too easy. Say hi to your brother for me, or sister. Or however you prefer to go by. I joke, of course. Of course, joke sinners, I have not ploughed any of thy mothers. As far as you're aware. Now, I'm going to do my best to keep this metallic off the skin if we can. If we can. Very real threat. Well, that depends, chat. Is your mother a relic? If so, then there's possible. We do like stealing relics, after all. We're pretty good at taking those. Listen, hags are in demand, chat. Hags are in demand, and you know. Damn. Damn. So, paint this. The haft will go with wood, of course. Rotten, filthy wood, naturally. This is befitting a servant of the Lord of Decay, Pestilence. So, we do also have a bit of armor on the arm. There's a strap I missed, I realise, so I'm going to go back and do that in a second. I do have other brushes, by the way. I'm just trying to use this one a lot. Oh, I heard someone mention it once, but I forget what the male equivalent of a hag is. It's not DILF, because if they're not a dad, then it doesn't count. So, the term exists somewhere, but for the life of me, I do not remember it. Perhaps there are knowledge you seek is on a legendary place known as Urban Dictionary. They may have the answers there. Just wizard. The wizard fuckers. To be fair, half the people we refer to as hags, like, they're not even that old. They're really not that old. Is that more a bone? That's more of a bone, isn't it? I'm just gonna, like, also do a little bit of chipping on here. A little bit of chipping on bits, because it's Nurgle. The paint work is not going to be perfect. It's going to be scratched up a little bit. All like rough chips here and there. They are, yeah, they are my. You are very old though. So, you know, make sense. I expect that Gandalf-like beard of yours at some point. Meanwhile, I'm in the prime of my youth. Can't you tell? How pale I am and how fucked up my fingers are. Jesus Christ. I have nibbled my fingers to oblivion and back. Yes, the prime of my youth has never been. It's fine. I like to think I've started living more recently. That's how I like to think about it. Where is my... No, there's a bit of brown to do, actually. Bit of leather. And to try and paint this on as precisely as I can. Right. Let's try and get a... You are definitely not going to see this in that camera. In fact, this is not the right brush for this. Hold on. Hold on, chat. Let me get a different brush. Where is it? Where's my teeny tiny little bitty brush? There's my little bitty brush. Behold the smallest brush I have. I think. Teeny tiny whittle brush. There's teeny tiny whittle details. Some of you would probably have to get this. You know what? I was going to make a joke. But you know what? Seeing as I'm feeling nice today, so I'm not going to make a joke at your expense. I've already called into question the fidelity of your parents' marriage, so I'm sure avoiding discussing your sizes would be preferred. The Cobra savagery today is unreal. There are shots fired left and right. Well, you may need a brush this size, this precise, this thin, to paint in your pee-pee size, chat. It's being this thin and precise. You can't even see it on the camera properly. Probably something you've said a few times. The speen. It is dry, don't worry. I wiped it off before I started speening it. I'm gonna put it back in its sheath now. Speaking of jokes. Speaking of certain jokes, a few of you have lost yours, so my apologies for reminding you of some trauma. If you even remember it. It's just a little off the top, you won't notice it. What's up with me today? I am in a odd mood, perhaps a funny mood, a trifling mood even. I hope you have good wrist movement for this, by the way. You gotta have that good wrist movement for this shit, alright? This is a use for your wrist movement that isn't on yourself, sinner. This is a good way to tie out your hands. Also, it's good for the pain. A little thing, what you should do, by the way, there's holders for these. Grab them. They do look like a fucking butt plug, but I'll be completely honest with you, they're very useful. I don't have one because I'm a pain in the ass like that. And I'm going to probably hurt myself at some point. Oh. I think a piece of Something was on my brush there. Right, let us do the wood on this here haft. We'll make it look more sickly later. I think for any cloth or anything we're not sure about, we'll let the washers take care of them. And I've got a couple of washers we can use. And also do a little bit on the boots here, just to help add some definition. I'm wearing that leather just a little bit. And maybe a smidge on those straps. Don't have to worry about being too clean with this one. The washes will help kinda deal with that anyway. So, we actually need to call upon a friend because to get these washes flowing nicely, I'm thinking we're going to need my dear friend, the Lamia Medium. Let me see if I can find the Lamia Medium. That's not it. Although, we want this, of course, the Nurgle's Rot. That's for later. And a bit of blood for the Blood God. This is also useful. We have a lot of paints over here you can't see, but they're growing pile as I acquire paints we might need. Where might you be? Lamia Medium. I could use water, but I tried to use medium because it makes the wash is a little more consistent. I should have probably found this earlier. That would have been very smart of me. See, sometimes, listeners, I'm not what we call intellectual. Actually, this is somewhat useful. This is what made the art coat. It's good for applying but huh? Oh, blood. Yes, blood. Gave me a word there for a second. I was like, huh? What was he saying? Sorry, I thought you said something else. I wasn't sure what you. I thought you were saying bud or something. I was like, what? I was worried. Is it not? Is it not there? Is it not among us? Take a shot every time I say Among Us today. You'll not last the night, I think. Let me just see if it's somewhere else. I apparently did not prepare well enough for this. Not among those. Hold on. It's among these other things that have been in the box. The less fucked up box. No, then it's somewhere in that pile, but Right. So I have no idea where it is. It's probably somewhere among all these paints. However, we'll figure it out. Might use maybe a little bit of this thinner. I was gonna wait for use this on the Well, we'll see. I might be able to use water if anything, to be fair. Right. We need a bit of this. A bit of this. So, shake the fuck out of these. And then I think a slightly bigger brush might be in order. It's a slightly bigger one. Right. This brush here should do nicely. Nice long head on it to absorb all of the wash. So we want a little bit of these. Yeah, no worries, man. No problem at all. No problem at all. Thanks for joining me. No, you take care of yourself, man. Have a good night. Rest up. And I'll be here painting away. Yeah, see you tomorrow, friend. See you tomorrow. So, we want a little bit of that. We want a little bit of Droopy Violet to help with the bruising and the deathly look of the guy. Not too much though, it's quite a strong colour. The dominant colour we want is the Record Flesh shade. Because we do want the fleshy look. We just kind of want him to look like a fucking corpse. So... a nice healthy dose of Rakarth. Now we'll add just a little bit of water to help mix all these together into a nice little concoction. And then we'll dab this all over the flesh. We'll hope to see a little bit of that definition coming out in him. If it gets on some of the bits like the leather, that's fine, that works for me. A little tongue coming out of the mouth, belly, we'll get it on that, but we're gonna paint over that anyway in a bit of a red later, so... as I say, doesn't need to be too heavily applied, but maybe we need a little bit more. Just a little bit on some of the general regions. Perfect. Can we get a bit more out of this? I can't get it a bit more flowy. Get a little bit more of this on there as well. A little bit more of that. Unlike my last one, this one has a lot more skin on show. The Horseman, he has like no skin really on show. But this guy, as you can see, a lot of skin. And hopefully he's starting to look a little bit more kind of fleshy now. And then that shouldn't take long to dry, because much water we've used in it. But we are going to start on some other things. A bit of Agrax Earthshade for everywhere else. I reckon. In fact, a splash of Black Templar really quick on a few areas like some cloth. And I think as well the handle of his axe. I will find a better angle for this at some point. Right. With a little bit of Black Templar on some areas, we'll close that up. Wash off the oud brush. You should probably use a tissue. I'm just going to use my hands to just wipe it down because, no, a madman like that. Right, we'll shake up the Agrax good and proper. We do have some oils, by the way, we're going to use on it as well, some inks, enamel-based inks. We're going to save them for last. We're basically just going to apply the Agrax straight from the pot on the metallics. Did I only metallic do some on the sword? Hopefully not. But I'm just going to paint this all over things like the sword. Just to really get that grime up. Let it settle. Obviously, if it pools, don't let it. You can kind of play with it a bit at this stage. And you should play with it. Get a good consistency. We're going to make sure to get some extra lot on the lower parts of the model as well, where it's like the dirtiest probably. Although it's Nurgle, so I'll be honest with you, if you just make the thing fucking dirty as shit, then you've done the job. May even want to paint some of this onto the skin as well. I believe there's like a leather pouch on here as well. I'm going to cover that. So that's covered up. And obviously the shoulder pad here, that's still nice and metallic. I should maybe have moved that a bit further different direction actually, now I think about it. But I wanted to be careful of it. The angle, we'll work on the angle. It'll... Right, so we've painted up the metallics now. The helmet as well, we'll give it a nice coat of Agrax for good measure. So we'll let that dry off for a little bit. Come back to that. While that dries, we can probably grab one of these fine chaps. Do a bit more work on them. I'm thinking the Marine, whilst So, this fella is looking rather white. We're going to make him look nice and red. I believe we have the red required. Bit of Blood Angel's red for him. It's a bit of a quicker way of doing it with these, but... do you want to use this brush? Yeah, I think we do for the larger sections of him. So, nice and thick on the brush, just contrast, and just section off. Again, I'm not going to be too worried about being clean at this point, because the rest of the cleanup comes later, but the cleaner, the better. Just want that total coverage. Again, a smidge of overspell ain't the end of the world, right? Because we can clean that up with a more precise hand later. Space Marines are not that hard to paint by design. G-dubs want you buying Space Marines because they sell. Even though if they put the same effort into all the range, all the minis, they probably sell better as well. Hell, people might actually remember there are other armies. Difficult to believe there are things that aren't Space Marines out there, but there are. Hello, Nyatia. How dare you, sir? How dare you? Couldn't walk in here, declare me a hag immediately. Dare, but good evening to you. You enjoy my pale ass hands painting away. You can kind of see it, the model. I have one drying just to the side there. Well, this one is been made all nice and colourful. With a nice little red on this one, very Blood Angelsy. Though he's a Salamander successor, just not a traditional Salamander successor. Thought I'd get this guy painted up in honor of Space Marine 2. It's coming out very soon. I'm going to be playing a load of that, I will say. But tell me, Nefty, if you're still there, how is your evening faring for you? How did your stream go? I do hope it went well. Hopefully it went well and you had much fun, I do hope. I recall I saw you streaming earlier anyway. I could be wrong, do correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I saw you streaming earlier. I was at work, unfortunately, so I couldn't really pop in and say hello, but hopefully it went well. Apologies, I was painting the face of this guy. Well, near the face. I was trying to keep the skull a bit white. Yeah, the custom chapter I'm making here, the basilisks, the void basilisks, I think I called them specifically, was the basilisks. They were essentially a offshoot of the Salamanders chapter. Their preferred method of war is terror. They utilize terror troops and the flames of the Promethean cult to enact fiery retribution upon traitors to the Imperium. If you're a Transformers fan, perhaps the Decepticon Justice Division might come to mind. But basically, they specifically go for those who have turned their back on humanity and have chosen to side with the alien. This can range from gene stealer cultists to Tau sympathizers. As you may know, the Imperium is not very tolerant of those who do not follow the Emperor, and these guys are that made manifest. They exist to remind the people of the Imperium what happens to those who stray from the God Emperor's divine path. And they do so with fire and wrath. But unlike the Sisters or other more zealous types, theirs is a very cold way of doing it. They aren't here to force your conversion. No, if you're, as far as they're concerned, you're past saving now. If they're here to set things alight and to remove you from the galaxy, one fiery, blood-stained wreck at a time. Your protests, unfortunately, are no longer their concern. They are here to remove whatever's left of you from the universe once they're finished tearing you apart. That is their mission, it is their goal. To be the righteous reminder to the Imperium of what the price of betrayal looks like. You might wonder, okay, how the salamanders, salamander's successor falling from the path that much. Salamanders are quite nice, and you're right, the salamanders are nice, but some of their successors are really weird. One of their successors is basically the word bearers. One of them is the salamanders but wet. They're the most normal. I believe one of them eat their dead. I believe, specifically. Yes, their fallen brothers are consumed as a rite of passage for their spirits. You heard me right. Cannibalistic Space Marines. They're loyalist. Very, odd groups. Salamander successors. They clearly didn't gain their benevolence or kindness. And I figured these guys would be much the same. Because, well, let's just say there are powers that be that are very keen for less savoury Space Marine chapters. The Inquisition are a good example of this. The Inquisition don't like the nicer chapters because the nicer chapters don't, well, help bring compliance. Whereas something like the Carcharodon Astra, or the Space Sharks, as they're called, oh, they're very good at that. Don't get me wrong, they'll cohort with the Astral Claws, who are a renegade group themselves, but not Chaos. Just don't believe in the Imperium. The two have ancient rites. The Carcharodon Astra also have some interesting ancient rites. For example, their rite that lets them just upend an entire Imperial planet. Like, imagine they've defended you, and right after they've beaten the aliens back, they basically tell you, you're all going to be put onto our ships now to serve forever until you die. You're welcome. But, oh, the fuck? And good luck trying to say no to them, because they are 10-foot tall murder machines that make Chaos Space Marines look tame. They will come at you with chain axes and silent frantic fury. They don't speak over Vox. They just kind of... Well, they also speak in High Gothic all the time as well, which is how savage they look, with like their blackened eyes and like the mouths kind of like extending a bit, and their teeth getting bigger. Like, you'd think they were savages, but then they speak in such eloquence, it's actually kind of off-putting. Like, they're terrible people, right? But they're so fucking eloquent. They're just so classy while they're dragging you off their ships. And if you try and resist, chain axe go burr. Chain axe go burr. They are also a big love of the chain axe, as you can probably guess. They do indeed love a good chain axe. To be fair, I also love a good chain axe, so this is thus they are mood kindred. I am a lover of the chain axe. I think it's a cool weapon. It's a chainsaw and an axe. What more can we ask for? What genuinely more could I ask for? The marriage of a chainsaw and an axe. I mean, one of the oldest weapons of all time, with one of the most fucked up utility tools of all time. Like, seriously. You remember why a chainsaw was invented? It was to help with childbirth. Like, who the fuck looked at that thing and thought, yeah, that'll help with childbirth, alright. That'll work. That'll do it. Got a little bit of red on the other tentacles. That's fine. You know what? That's fine, actually. I can work with that. Right. Now on to the bit I've been looking forward to. I might not get up to him. This guy. We might not get onto him tonight. That's fine. But this guy we're gonna finish. Gonna finish this guy up. So, let me introduce you to some friends of mine. Mineral spirits. These will gas me the fuck out, so I've been leaving it till last. If I have to end stream suddenly, it's because I'm coughing my lungs up. I'm going to introduce them to the wonderful world of Villainy Inks. Again, not sponsored. We're going to use a bit of a mixture. Some Goon's Grime. Some Sector Rust. And probably just those two, but Ichor the Dam's a nice one as well. You can use it for some very precise stuff, actually. But these two, are pretty good for Gunge and Grime. Second, see if I can get these open. They're very difficult to open sometimes. Come on, you fucker. Get. Try this one. I swear, the one problem I have with Villainy Ink stuff is they're just so fucking hard to open. Like, good god, why? There we go. The other issue with them, admittedly, is they're enamel inks. It's like, okay, fellas, enamel kinda go goopy. So they do come in droppers, little pipettes, but the problem with these pipettes is they kind of get gooped. The enamel kind of gunges. Oop, careful now, don't tip these over. Come on, get out the dropper. So I can get some actually in the dropper, shall we? I'm convinced these droppers no longer work. They're actually fucked. I'm gonna have to buy some pipettes. It's a bit disappointing, but I may have to actually buy some pipettes. Because the pipettes, these just do not stay functional for very long. Because the problem with enamel, right? Enamel gets goopy, and that, like, it sort of solidifies. And the darker colours have a problem with this. Like, because of the darker, more intense pigment, basically, is the reason, if you're curious. This is the rationale behind why the darker pigments have this issue. The lighter ones have it less bad, but it's still a problem. Okay. Not the nicest way of doing it, but it'll work. Right. Put some there. I will get some pipettes at some point to get those working better, because, yeah, they are a bit fucked. So, I'm going to use this one. Now, a little advice. Keep a window open when doing this. Mineral spirits, even though this one's a nice smelling one, will choke you the fuck out. If you want to use a mask of some kind to help you with breathing, do so. I, however, am an idiot. You should not always do what I do. Right. Now we have our mixture. We're going to cover this fella. Don't worry. It may look a bit rough initially, but we'll deal... It'll look pretty good when it's done. So, we're going to cover him up in this entire mixture, right? Apply it nice and thick. Because we're going to wipe it all off in a bit. Now, if you're following along at home, that's Villainy Inc.'s Grim and Dirty and Sector Rust. If I recall rightly. Those are the two I just used, and you may say, but Baronzar, you can barely tell what colour this guy was now. Don't worry. Don't fret. We're gonna have this guy all nice and done. So, make sure to wash the fuck out of this brush, by the way. Holy fuck. I will wash the hell out of my hands as well. Because, yeah. Now, hopefully I can hold him up to the camera and you'll see what it is I've done. So, you see on the camera now, he's looking a bit more brown. More goopy. But that's okay. He's going through a little transformation. You see, what the intent here is this will darken things a bit. I've just noticed a bit of an area that wasn't covered. Help unify some areas. Get a quick drink. Right. Yeah, like I say, it'll help unify some areas. And it'll help kind of bring it all together. So what we're going to do now is actually it's quite warm in here, so though he looks quite wet, quite a few areas are already starting to dry. So, what we're going to do, for it, you can wait until it fully dries, because this will reactivate it. Basically, what you do, you cover it in the enamel wash, enamel oils and that kind of thing are an option too. There are many examples. Villainy inks is one example. I may test some others out too. But I'm going to just pour a little bit of this onto this brush I've got here. This is going to do is going to reactivate it, but we're going to try and leave it in the crevices, right? So it gets that real nice stuff. So, as you'll see here, you look quite brown. We're going to just wipe them down a bit of this. With the aim of leaving the recesses covered, right? Now it's going to run down a bit, so it doesn't run on my. I'm going to try and put this here so it doesn't like run my desk too much. As we will see, it'll start coming off him a little bit as we kind of wipe him down and sort of reactivate the oils, the inks. So from the more raised places, he's going to look a bit cleaner, but on those more recessed places, he's still going to look filthy. He'll look filthy in general because he's an old guy and I've made him look filthy. But the point is, the areas I want him to look really filthy, he will look really filthy. And those more raised areas won't. So as you'll see, he's looking a bit less brown, but more defined. Now we're going to put this guy in the windowsill. Just so he doesn't actually kill me with fumes. I think, chap, that may be where I'll leave it for tonight, because I've got a couple things I want to sort out, and my head is starting to feel a bit dodgy from the fumes, so I'm going to wrap it up here a bit shorter, but I hope you enjoyed that painting stream. I hope it felt nice and comfy and cozy. We're going to try some, like I say, we're going to experiment, right? We're going to try things. So bear with me as I experiment a bit, right? So I want to find things that work for me and work for you. So while I go wash my hands and all that, I hope you have a wonderful evening, everybody. I hope you take good care of yourselves and each other. And I hope you enjoyed yourselves. It's been a nice, pleasant, comfy stream for little old me. So do take care, chat. I'll see you all tomorrow. Ta for now.